Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat?
It sucks having to sit there and watch when it wasn't the most painful thing I've ever dealt with. It really wasn't. It wasn't really painful. It was just a lack of being able to do my job. And so that was the most frustrating part, because I couldn't just play through it. You know, I just literally couldn't do it. And so it's been the most frustrating injury I've ever had, besides breaking my ankle and not being able to play in the playoffs, that year. But this is the most frustrating because there's literally nothing that I could do but wait and just let it heal.
Derek Carr meeting with reporters for the first time since coming back from injury. He was at practice on Wednesday and back at practice again on Thursday as we sit here right now at 3:21 Central Time. Still waiting on the full injury report from Thursday's practice to see what Carr's official designation is. But we are all anticipating Derek Carr is going to play this weekend against Carolina Panthers. And that's great news for the New Orleans Saints, no matter what way you slice it. And one thing that I don't think anybody would ever accuse Derek Carr of is being soft or weak or any of that stuff. He has played through injuries, and I think he is kind of has that tough guy mentality. There's a lot of flaws in his game, and we've talked about him, but Derek Carr is a good dude, as I think it's pretty apparent the way he presents himself, a good man, and a tough guy football player. The flaws and limitations are things that we've highlighted within his game, et cetera, that I think are limiting for what this team can be. But I don't think anybody's going to accuse Derek Carr ever of just not playing when he's able to be out there. So it's going to be good for Derek Carr to be back out there for the Saints this weekend against Carolina. But he was asked about the expectation of him being out there on a team that's 2-6, and I don't know. The word he used. The word choice here probably wasn't the best.
I am no savior. There's only been one of those, and that is not me. I am here to be a great leader and to be a great teammate and to do my job to the best of my ability. And do I feel confident what I can do? Absolutely. I feel confident in what I can do. I feel confident in what I can bring to our team, and that's exciting, right? But to save us or anything like that, that's not me.
Okay. Look, man, I, like you, sir, am a devout Christian. I love the Lord. We all know what the question was about saving the season, man. We don't mean like the savior of the world. We can all appreciate what you mean, but work with me here, Derek. Specifically as far as being no savior on the football field, I don't think anyone has that expectation, dog. I mean, before this season, NFL.com had their quarterback rankings, and they had you 20th. One spot ahead of, wait for it, Anthony Richardson. The dude that was just benched who helmet tapped to come out because he was tired. They had you, the National Football League, not NFL fan super guy blog.com. I don't know if that's a real thing. You can fact check me. But like NFL.com, the actual website for the league. You don't really have to check that. I was joking. Thank you, Alondra. Yes, Derek Carr has been to 4 Pro Bowls. However, 3 of them were as a replacement when someone who was actually elected to the Pro Bowl couldn't go. The other time he was elected to the Pro Bowl, he couldn't play because he broke his ankle, which sucks. 10 NFL seasons, you've made the playoffs twice. You've played in 1 playoff game, which was a loss. You've got a career record of 74-90, and you've had 3 total winning seasons in your 10 years as a starter, and one of them was a year ago when you went 9-8 in New Orleans, and I don't think anybody would consider that season a success. The bottom line is, Derek, no, not I, nor anyone are expecting you to be the savior in a football sense. We certainly don't expect you to be the savior of the world. Can you play the beginning of that again? Like just the very beginning of that again?
I am no savior.
Yeah, no kidding. Got it. Thank you for the clarification. The 74-90 record didn't give it away? Anyway. There is the very obvious question, though, of you're coming off an oblique injury. You don't have to be a high-level athlete to understand if you're throwing a football and there's torque and rotation. If you have an oblique injury, which are your love handles, for those that don't know, I think most of you probably know that, that's going to limit your functionality. So here's Derek Carr and what his functionality is like now coming off that injury.
We got to a point real late last week where I felt confident in what we were doing. We did some things on Monday, felt real confident. Tuesday, felt confident. And then today, I was like, all right, well, we should be good. And I felt good. And it was really that first ball, you throw in team that is a real rep. You move, you got to step this way, throw it that way. And, that was the test, and it felt great.
So that's fantastic to hear. Now, what's it like if he gets hit? I have no idea if he gets blindsided, if it re-aggravates something, or if it's just something that's going to be the force of throwing the football and rotating. Hopefully we don't have to find out. Hopefully he stays healthy and goes out there and plays against Carolina and plays the rest of the season and does a great job. One last little interesting tidbit here from Carr is he said, remember, back in 2014, Drew Brees had the same injury. Now, Brees didn't tell anybody. It happened in preseason, and so he missed the end of the preseason, and by his own admission, when that season ended, he came back too early, and it was just very obvious. That a lot of people were concerned that Brees' shoulder was acting up, the old shoulder injury, and that was a 7-9 season. But really, as we learned after the season, it was the fact that he suffered an oblique injury in training camp, and it just never properly healed, and it affected him the whole season. And Carr said he did reach out to Drew Brees last week.
So that's part of the reason this was the toughest injury for me. So, I wanted to make sure that I came back and I was just me. I'm not overcompensating like last year with my shoulder or just different things. And the day I found out what it was, and we found out the time frame and what I had done, I called it. I think I texted Drew and asked him. I said, hey, I know you had this back in this year. What was some, and things like just make sure your mechanics. He gave me other advice, but he's like, just don't let your mechanics suffer to just try and get back on the field, because then you won't feel the same.
That certainly happened. Looking in 2014, and that was if you remember, the Saints had the Bounty Gate year in 12, 13. Sean Payton came back, and the team went to the playoffs, won a playoff game against the Philadelphia Eagles, and then 2014 was the first of the back-to-back 7-9 seasons. And in that season, Brees threw for 4,900 yards and 33 touchdowns, but he had 17 interceptions. So you saw the touchdowns dip and the interceptions go up, which was no doubt a product of that whole situation, the injury and then losing and trying to get back. So I'm going to be interested to see what Derek Carr looks like, but hopefully he's taking the time to get right. And if there is a great time for this to happen and then come back, it's this week against Carolina. Carolina is dead last in the NFL in scoring defense, 33.9 points per game. They're 25th in pass defense at 232 yards per game, and they're second to last in the NFL in total defense. That's yards per game at 387. The caveat there is the worst defense in the NFL are your New Orleans Saints. This will be a pillow fight for the ages. Saturday in Charlotte. Sunday in Charlotte with Saints and the Panthers. Derek Carr will be out there. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.